So we're going to talk about 7 coins today that could eclipse its all-time high. Hi everyone, welcome to the video. If you're new, subscribe, hit the bell button, leave a like. As always now, again, check out the links below, socials, all kinds of good stuff. I need to kickstart my Instagram, I know that. Anyways, last video, or yesterday's video, whatever, talked about how this industry is potentially sitting there and it will eventually grow with a thing called network effect and adoption effect. I mentioned it before, it's called Metcalfe's law, right? If you get enough people to talk about a certain product, an item, a thing, it will grow in its value. That's with anything in life, It's like overfeeding yourself, basically. The more you eat, the fatter you get. It's just the same sort of thing with token flow. It's like the more people that are there, the fatter it's going to get in terms of the chain size, in terms of how many transactions, how much throughput can it do, the security of it, and most importantly, utility, which will increase burning fees for certain mechanisms, increased elements to make the price go up, down, left, right. You get the picture, right? So I've picked out 7 coins that are very, very obvious, that are in a good place and could easily, longer term, go beyond its all-time high. Now, this is not financial advice. Do not give me shit if it goes wrong. I'm just putting out a point of content in terms of an obvious that all of these picks here have a network effect element to them. So basically, if the industry grows, and it should continue to grow if the sentiment is there, if we get more adoption, if we get more people doing this, that and the other in terms of higher places such as banks, such as financial institutions, people, payment mechanisms, whatever, right? It will probably do okay. So if we're looking at the chart now, that is a total market cap of altcoins. That's what I'm focusing on, not Bitcoin, altcoins. And yes, Ethereum is involved in this. So when we start thinking, what if this is a correction? What if we continue to go up and we continue to go towards $2 trillion? The chances are every single coin on this list will be up probably way more than its all-time high in USD. Okay, that is the most important thing. So as I say, do your research, understand what I'm saying, understand how networks work. Quickly get on Google, look at Metcalfe's law, look at how adoption works, look at how all those kind of mechanisms happen, and look at the history of cryptocurrency of how it's happened so far. There's a running theme here, you've probably noticed it. So, the 7 coins that I'm going to pick out here, I don't hold all of them, I hold some of them. A lot of them are good in terms of token flow and what it aims to achieve over time, and we're going to look at them because I think it's very, very important that we get a grip of it, and you can have some core holdings based upon these as an idea over time anyways. So the first one is obvious, it's Ethereum, right? It's now got a burning mechanism. It has, it will hopefully over time have a maximum supply that will probably give it that full scarcity factor. Now, burning mechanisms are awesome. They work in my opinion, they work very, very well. But you've also got more and more projects coming into the world of cryptocurrency that will adopt the world of Ethereum because it's the most easy and most obvious to do so. It's very, very quick to get on the likes of Uniswap and stuff like that. It makes sense, right? So when we start talking about Ethereum and where it could go, and we've got to think we're not too far away from all-time high now, realistically. And you got to think the market sentiment has picked up quite a lot, quite aggressive. So we may well find some increased gains here very, very easily, just due to the fact of what it's aiming to achieve. They do need to solve a few problems with, and obviously in terms of the fee structure and stuff like that. There's also been a few little scams here and there in terms of how Ethereum kind of runs, in terms of people would use Ethereum videos to kind of get people to scam. There's all kinds of stuff along that, as well as hackers in terms of Ethereum bridges going wrong. So again, that is not Ethereum's fault, it's just part of the technology, part of the developers. But thinking long term is relatively good in my opinion. Moving on to the next one, you've probably already guessed it, Cardano. We're getting there now. Most likely going to continue going up due to the fact of smart contracts coming in. Again, it's just one of those things. There's a lot of developments coming with Cardano, but again, it has a huge network effect. They've already adopted majority of Africa in terms of a lot of countries using their chain. There's all kinds of mechanisms going live when the smart contracts go live as well. You're probably going to see a lot of DeFi stuff. You're probably going to see a lot of payment mechanisms, a lot of just projects getting built on this realistically. Whether it's going to be easy or not for them, I don't know, because it's relatively under wraps in terms of how they're going to do it. However, it's just the start of the journey. This is just the start of it for Cardano in terms of a network effect. There's a lot of hype. There's a lot of, promotional kind of buzzwords around Cardano. However, it's proved that it can hold a substantial dump. It's proved that it can continue going higher. So let's see what it does. And yeah, you may well find that Cardano could well be well over its $2, I think it was $2.20 mark, all-time high, not too far away. Now, Polkadot. Again, we're talking about network effects here. We're talking about the use of the relay chains, the parachains, and all kinds of chain-related stuff in terms of the multi-chain. Now, the beautiful thing with this is you don't have to build on Polkadot to be a part of their ecosystem. You can plug in as a substrate and plug in on your existing blockchain that may be Ethereum based, it may be based on Cardano, it may be based on, I don't know, whatever else is out these days. You could plug into it as a mainnet entity and run and be interoperable using their multi-chain. This is where I think there's a lot of potential here in terms of other chains adopting this chain, and just to have that throughput with other chains is going to be a big game changer for every chain involved, essentially, because it is literally a multi-chain. It will work with everything and anything. That's a beautiful thing. Obviously, Sol projects in terms of the parachains, a bit different. They'll be running on there. So again, there's a multiple load of projects that are looking to get parachains. They have to bid for them. Token flow. More and more people that are bidding using the crowd loans and stuff like that. More and more people and more projects getting put onto here, and developers. It's just going to grow anyways. And I think at $21, and we've got to think here, this has got to go to roughly around $50 in terms of all-time high. So yeah, bit of a jump, but definitely possible, as nothing is live yet. The next one is Solana. Similar sort of element to obviously the likes of Ethereum, stuff like that. But again, has a huge network effect, a massive network effect. If you don't understand what this is, it's DApp creation. And again, with the element of DApp creation, with the proof of stake, and proof of history that they have as consensuses, it's going to get interesting over time when you think how many projects are going to use this. And again, we're looking at roughly around $52, $53, I think it was, roughly all-time highs, give or take. And again, it's roughly at 41 at the moment. It actually held up pretty well in that previous dump. Again, network effects will be very, very important. As things develop, as things grow, this will most likely become a top 10 asset realistically in terms of size and of obviously structure. It's doing very, very well, and that is an important element to it. The next one, mentioned it yesterday, was Matic. The DeFi world and stuff like that and scaling solutions is going to get bigger and bigger. And this has had a huge drop off. However, it's looking really, really strong now. It's got in my opinion, it's got a really, really good, strong recovery. But this is all a part of the Ethereum scaling infrastructure and the development of that. Again, as I say, when you think about it and think about multi-chains as well, as you can kind of see here, multi-chain system, this could be very, very interesting for scaling solutions for a lot of coins, a lot of chains. So as those chains that I've just mentioned get bigger and bigger and bigger, they need something to kind of help it. Guess what this one's going to do? Well, it's going to help it. So this is going to, in its own right, it's going to help grow and stabilize and scale up all those chains anyways. So wouldn't this just grow anyways? Most likely, yes. Next one, Silica. Why? Obvious one really for me. It's just growing. It's just continuously growing. The transactions are getting fatter. They're getting more and more juice. They're quicker because of the sharding effect. More and more projects, more and more developers are looking to grow on Silica. And the fact that it's just a growing ecosystem is getting bigger and bigger. They're starting to get more exposure in America now, which is obviously a good thing. And again, it's not too far away from its all-time high. I still think it's majorly undervalued in the BTC pair, so it could get even more gains. And I think it will do very, very well. Just got to be patient with it. As I say, though, a lot of things are growing on it. This is a much more, it's a different type of blockchain. It's an enterprise solution. So you're going to see more and more businesses on it. But a lot of Singapore projects are on here. So we'll see over time how it does. But I do think over time, with a network effect of a growing ecosystem like Silica, I think it'll do very, very well. And the last one, reserve rights. Why? Because The network effect is important when you think of the economy. This is a payment solution. This is a payment mechanism where you can hold your own physical money in countries that have problems, economic downturn, increased inflation, problems, right? They've already got a ton of transactions already. They've already got a ton of users, and it hasn't even got mainnet yet. When this adopts to more and more countries and gets used on a bigger scale on multiple app services, it's only on Android at the moment. When it gets on iOS, when it gets to more countries, as I say, it will probably do even better with a mainnet. Most likely have a burning structure involved. Most likely have all kinds of elements with fees within that as well as a revenue mechanism. It is backed by big people. As I said yesterday in the video and that voice clip, all of these coins are backed by big things, big people, big entities that are looking to push it pretty hard. Not every coin will do well, but the ones that have been backed pretty well and they've got a good team, a good, solid, powerful ecosystem with that team in sync with it, they will do well. And this is one of them that fits the bill perfectly as well. So for me, when I look at it in terms of stable coins as well, this could also be a stable coin solution in terms of RSV. There's a lot of things out there, and I do think that this will do very, very well. Do your research though. A lot of people are misled in researching. Make sure you do your own research, but I do think this will eclipse all-time highs as well. So there's 7. Yes, I've not covered all of them. There's potentially 2,000 that could eclipse all-time highs. Don't get me wrong, but I'm looking at the ones with just full-on network effects that will, over time, do well anyways.